All right, everybody, welcome into the Lantern Sports Wrap-Up Show. I'm your host, Casey Smith, alongside Gabe Burggraf, Jacob Benge, and Stephen Kishpaugh. And we heard from an assortment of players here on this Wednesday evening ahead of Ohio State's opening season matchup against Notre Dame at the Shoe Saturday, 7:30 p.m. And, first things first, they were talking yesterday about how they really wanted to establish the run, and controlling the line of scrimmage was a big part of their game plan, Jacob. We heard from Luke Whippler. What do you have to say about that front, and just what are we expecting from the Buckeyes down in the trenches tomorrow?
Yeah, Casey, it was fun to hear from Luke Whippler, who's someone who's going into his second year as a starter there at center. He talked about how TreVeyon Henderson, we all know what he can do running the ball. This year he's working more on his pass protection and catching the ball, too, out of the backfield. So it was fun to hear that regard. You know, Luke also touched on how Ohio State's shuffled offensive line is going to look this season. Paris Johnson Jr. sliding back to left tackle. Donovan Jaxon, Matthew Jones are ending the starting lineup as regular starters this season. And, you know, Luke said that Donovan Jaxon is one of the best athletes he's played with and things like that. So, it's fun to see that in that regard, but as you mentioned, Casey, establishing the run might be something that Ohio State looks to do to get that success against Notre Dame on Saturday. Luke ended his presser by saying, it was simple to identify the problems in the 2021 season. We didn't hoist the trophy at the end of the year.
And Jaxon Smith-Njigba was available and echoed that sentiment. He talked about the offense having all the stats but not having the wins at the end of the year to show for it. And he also said that the defense, in his mind, is ready to go. They had, I think he was talking about Tanner McAllister, Denzel Burke, the main guys that have been on him. But he said they've been better and they've been giving him trouble. He slipped up here and there. He wouldn't specify exactly how many times he's been caught lacking. But at the end of the day, he says that the defense is ready to roll.
And to echo that sentiment, linebacker Tommy Eichenberg mentioned that the defense, despite going through numerous structural changes with the coaching staff and losing guys, he said that they're well prepared for Saturday's game. He said that the new coaching philosophy was kind of hard to adjust to at first, but once the season progressed and they got to watch more film and practice more plays, Eichenberg says that the defense is ready to go for Saturday. And then on the offensive side, we'll see how the new field affects both sides of the ball. TreVeyon Henderson mentioned earlier that, the new turf was easier to run on. And so maybe that plays a factor in, maybe how fast guys are going. We'll see on Saturday how they acclimate to the new field.
Right, you mentioned the new turf, Stephen. Safe Light Field at Ohio Stadium. That's a new name. That's what they agreed to. It'll always be the Shoe no matter what. It'll be interesting. Tommy Eichenberg was also talking about flying around to the ball, and that's going to be one of the keys for the defense, is really rallying sort of in a manner that you saw from Ohio State's 2014 defense there at the end, especially in that Big Ten championship defense against Wisconsin. There was a lot of rallying on that defense in that game. One of the biggest games in recent Ohio State memory, because that propelled them into the playoff. You talked about they weren't able to hoist the trophy last year. That's one of their goals. Jaxon Smith-Njigba has already made it clear. They're playing 15 games this year, and game number 1 starts Saturday, 7:30 p.m. under the lights. Everybody in the country is going to be watching. Who knows? Jack Harlow's already going to be there. Who knows what other celebrities are going to be there? I know for a fact, though, all 4 of us will be there covering for Lantern Sports. Be sure to follow us on all socials at Lantern Sports, Twitter, Instagram. Follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Lantern OSU, and also on our YouTube channel, where we'll have all the content ahead of Notre Dame and during and after Notre Dame. So until next time, for Gabe, Jacob, Stephen, I'm Casey Smith. We'll take care.